let's talk about the New Day, or more specifically, the problem with the New Day. Something is missing with these guys. So what is it? Somebody wrote into me, and I'm sorry I didn't put the person's name down, but they had written into me and mentioned something that JBL said on commentary. Maybe it was when Kofi was on commentary with him, and JBL was kind of pushing him on, are you hiding something? It was, and they took that to mean maybe it was a tease that there is some sort of mischievous thing going on with the New Day, and things aren't as they seem. I hope. I certainly hope so. I hope it's possible. Maybe they have something evil planned with these guys that has yet to play itself out. Remember, I pitched the whole idea of giving them, and it was just a random idea. It wasn't anything I thought out or anything, but just giving them the rub by tagging with John Cena in some matches on TV, and then turning on John Cena. Maybe after being paid off by Paul Heyman as part of the build to the Lesnar-Cena match at the Royal Rumble. They kind of already did something similar with Seth Rollins last Monday and Heyman and Lesnar. But it was just an idea that I pitched to show that they never really were baby faces to begin with. But it's been a few weeks now. We kind of see what the act is going to be. And so far, it's been really disappointing. Not only that, the crowd in Detroit last Monday didn't even give these guys a chance out there. It was bad. And I heard they came out to a good reaction the next night on Main Event. Of course they did. They were probably the first match people saw all night, other than whatever the opening dark match was. They'll cheer for whoever they send out there. They'll cheer for me if they sent me out for the first match. They don't even know who the fuck I am. That doesn't mean much of anything because they got a big reaction on Main Event. So what? I was thinking about why. Unless they do this big, elaborate turn with them in the next few weeks, why is this New Day thing destined to fail? Which it is. Why is it destined to fail? And it's part of a problem, I think, that is very much endemic, is a word for you, in WWE right now. It's the sign of a much bigger problem. Instead of just complaining about it, I figured let's at least try to get to the heart of what's going on here and what can be done to try to fix it, because I'd like to see this New Day thing work. I'd like to see at least one, better yet, even more than one, of the members of the New Day come out of this a bigger star than they were going into it. I would argue a big part of the problem here, is that we know very little about these guys and have no connection to them whatsoever. Xavier Woods, okay, he graduated college with 2 degrees. I don't think people really know that. They keep hearing about the PhD stuff, which is true. He got his master's. Now he's working on his PhD. They have mentioned that on commentary before. Boy, do they love to mention that. Makes them look good. But we don't know anything else about the guy beyond that. I know that he used to be Consequences Creed in TNA. What does the average WWE fan really know about Xavier Woods? He was apparently R-Truth's friend when he first came in, but he hasn't associated with R-Truth since. Did they have a falling out? Why isn't R-Truth part of the New Day? Kofi Kingston. Kofi Kingston, we know he was born in Ghana. Although at one point we were supposed to believe, I guess, he was born in Jamaica, but he was born in Ghana, came to this country very young, so he grew up here. He did the Jamaican thing at first before he dropped the accent, which, they could always bring it up and just poke fun at it and chalk it up to him trying to stand out and make a name for himself. Beyond those things, what do we really know about Kofi Kingston? He debuted in ECW back in 2008. It's going to be 7 years that this guy has been on television. And I don't know fuck all about this guy, other than he plays video games and he used to ride on CM Punk's bus. They may or may not still be friends. That's it. They started to get behind the guy in 2009, and then he pissed off Randy Orton, and he never got to that same level again after that. Remember, don't piss anybody off. He violated the cardinal rule. 7 years. 7 years. I could have broken a mirror and my bad luck would be over by now. 7 years and I know nothing about this guy. He's the guy who flies around. So what? Lots of guys fly around. I watch NXT every week. That's all people do is fly around. I have no personal connection to the guy. He seems like a nice enough guy, but I don't know anything about him. Big E, okay? Big E, don't call me Langston. High school wrestling champion, played football, got into powerlifting. I think they actually brought up his powerlifting stuff. I was shocked on the pre-show match at the TLC show. You know, the dude broke records, national records in powerlifting as a super heavyweight. I think Michael Cole even brought that up. So how did the guy get into wrestling? Why? Why did he get into WWE? What made him come to WWE? Why not talk about his run on NXT? With all the publicity that NXT's been getting of late, although you would never know if you watch Raw, they didn't say word one about that takeover show on Monday night, 3 fucking hours, and never even showed, I don't think, a commercial or any kind of video package about it. But for all the publicity that NXT has been getting, it's not a secret anymore. People know about it. People are into it. I don't know why you wouldn't want to draw more attention to it as a way to entice new people to sign up for the network and see what's going on. You know, to show people that the stars of tomorrow, you could find them right now on the WWE network. And Big E is a former NXT champion. As a matter of fact, he beat Seth Rollins for the title, Mr. Money in the Bank. Speaking of his time on NXT, I still can't figure out for the life of me why they never brought his 5-count gimmick to the main roster. I mean, the thing was over. It would get over on TV without a doubt. 110% that thing would get over if they tried that on the main roster with him. Okay, Big E, he's a charismatic guy. He's a funny guy. He's got personality. He also apparently has a gland problem. The dude sweats too much. That's his new gimmick. That's the great new gimmick they've come up with for Big E. I'm sorry. Big E will never be the sweaty guy on the roster so long as Brock Lesnar is under contract. I'm surprised John Cena didn't drown at SummerSlam. It's disgusting. But he sweats too much. That's the best they could come up with for this guy. That's their great new idea for him. They got Kofi Kingston on commentary talking about how much he sweats. That's why they go out there and they get the kind of reaction they did in Detroit on Monday night. It's been a few weeks now. We've seen nothing beyond those initial church vignettes to help explain why we should care about these guys at all. What is so special about them now that we didn't already know about them all the other years that we've seen them on television? I mean, Xavier hasn't been around for that long, but Kofi's been around for 7 years. Big E's been around now for a while. What do we know about them now that we didn't know before? What is a new day anyway? What does that even mean? More like Groundhog Day to me. They walk out there, they're dressed like the Blue World Order, doing the whole stereotypical dancing black man gimmick that WWE loves so much, and they're just a bunch of happy guys. And you can say, well, you know, if they came in as heels, Solomonster, if they were like the Nation of Domination, the angry black man thing's been done before too. Yes, it has been. In WWE, they've done that before too, but at least had they followed through on what the original plan appeared to be when Xavier Woods first showed up that one time on Raw in the white suit with the I think he was wearing glasses, talking about how they're not going to take crap from anybody anymore. And if they went in a darker direction with these guys, they were angry and pissed off about being held down and being held back, at least they would have a clear motivation. These guys are angry because they want to tear ass through the roster. They're tired of being a joke. They're tired of being an afterthought. Kofi Kingston, 7 years on the roster. Can you imagine if they let him play heel and turned him loose in a promo on Raw where he got to vent all of his frustration? I've said for years, it's time we got to see heel Kofi. If he can't carry it, then he can't carry it. But give the guy a chance. Give him some new threads, a new attitude. That can make all the difference in the world. He's a company guy. I mean, he'll fill whatever role they need him to. When I interviewed him for the Sound Off over WrestleMania weekend in Miami a few years ago, I asked him, I said, do you prefer being a single or a tag team guy? And he basically said, whatever they need me for. That was his answer. Just a strict company answer. I'm here to contribute to the team in any way they need me for. They want me to team up with Evan Bourne and be Air Boom, then that's what I'm going to do. So he's not a guy that's going to make waves. But you got to know that this guy is probably just dying to take a stab at the heel thing. He's been doing the smiling, happy babyface thing his entire career so far. It's something that's really lacking with these characters on the main roster these days. There's no depth to the characters. There's no layers to the characters. They're one-dimensional. Now, there are some exceptions. They're not all like that. You know, to the kids, John Cena is their hero who never gives up. He's what Hogan was to a previous generation. Daniel Bryan was a great underdog. You could get behind him. Sami Zayn on NXT is the same way. Bayley on NXT for the women wrestlers is another one. You know, when she lost, it was either in one of her matches with Charlotte or Sasha Banks. And on the post show, I wish I could remember what show it was, Renee Young was interviewing Bayley at ringside after her loss, and she had tears in her eyes because her mom was there and she felt like she let her mom down and everybody else down. You just felt so badly for this girl. Most of the characters on the main roster, I couldn't care less if they win or lose. Mizdow, Damian Mizdow, is maybe the only character right now I can really get behind. Ziggler may be another one just because I want to see the guy succeed. But even Dolph Ziggler, he's the show-off. That's all we know about the guy. He used to be a caddy and a male cheerleader. Now he's the show-off. But Mizdow is great. And when Miz bullies him around, it kind of pisses you off. And when the day comes that Mizdow stands up for himself, the place is going to go bonkers. But Damian Mizdow is not a money character. It's a comedy character with a short shelf life. And it's sad that most weeks it feels like he's the only thing worth watching on that show. I'm not saying I don't like anybody on the roster other than him. That's not what I'm saying. I like plenty of people on that roster. Tyson Kidd is another one. But there's a difference between liking somebody and actually caring about the character and what happens to them. And what I'm saying is they've done a poor job of giving people a reason to care about these people and thinking, man, that guy's segment is on. I'm not going to miss that. I'm definitely going to tune in for that. If I watch nothing else, I'm going to make time for that guy's segment. And I think that's the biggest problem I have with the New Day. I just don't care. Give me a reason to care about these guys. You can't just repackage them and trot them out there and think that all of a sudden people are going to cheer for them. Now they're stars. It doesn't work that way. We saw this in the interview Vince McMahon did with Steve Austin. And he admitted, I don't have all the answers. No shit. Nobody does. Nobody has all the answers. Isn't that why you hired those 26 writers? What the hell are you paying these people for? And if they are coming up with great ideas, and I'm sure some of them are, you got 26 people, they can't all be coming up with shitty ideas, and you're just not listening to them. Again, I ask, why are you paying them? What are you paying them for? You've got JBL out there doing the New Day dance. Whatever the fuck that is. Oh yeah, that'll do wonders for these guys. Which actually brings me to another point. I'm actually happy I brought up the announcers. You know what else doesn't help these guys? The announcing. I missed the pre-show match at TLC where they wrestled the Dust Brothers. I went back after the fact and I watched it. And not only did the Three Stooges do nothing to help the New Day, Michael Cole referred to Stardust at one point as a goof. I think it was when he came out, which may well be true. I mean, let's be honest, it is kind of a goofy character. But who is Michael Cole to call somebody else a goof? And then later in the match, JBL's talking about how much Stardust looks like the Great Gazoo from the Flintstones, which resulted in a 5-minute conversation about the Great Gazoo. Cartoon characters talking about other cartoon characters. What is the point of the commentary? That's what I want to know. It's not entertaining, so it can't be for us. It does nothing to help the talent, so it can't be for them. I assume it's just being done for them to amuse themselves. And I honestly don't know who to blame for it. I mean, are these guys together just that bad? Because Michael Cole can be very good when he wants to be. He's had some very good calls in his career. He's not a bad announcer. I mean, are these three just really no good together? Or is it Vince McMahon? I mean, I would really want to know. I can honestly say that the announcing right now in WWE, and I'm not counting NXT in this, the announcing right now is at an all-time low. It's as bad as I can ever remember it being. The announcing sucks. So that doesn't help the New Day either. And right now, they can use all the help that they can get.